Most people think memes came to be in or around the age of the World Wide Web. However, the origins of the meme go back many years before this. That's right, before Badger Badger Badger, Leet Speak and All Your Base are Belong to Us, there was a phenomenon unlike anything seen before, arguably one of the world's first memes, and this was a meme during the Second World War. So, why would someone have a meme during this time in history? It might have something to do with the fact that you're fighting a war, and anything to keep your mind off fighting the enemy just for 5 minutes might be the escape you need, so why not have a joke about it? And that came in the form of Kilroy was here, and that was just it, a random piece of graffiti that was left somewhere for anyone else to find, that simply said, Kilroy was here, with the face of a man looking over a wall with quite a large nose. So, who was Kilroy, and why was this such a popular thing to do at the time? The infamous term Kilroy was here emerged as a phenomenon during the horrid years of the Second World War. Its origins are intertwined with the experiences of American servicemen who served on the front lines and encountered this mark in many unexpected places. The distinctive image features a bald head with a prominent nose peeking over a wall or surface, accompanied by the phrase itself, Kilroy was here. Because, yes, he was there. He was there for everyone to see. It's one of those things where you don't notice it to begin with, but when you've seen one, then you see it everywhere. Almost like Kilroy has been absolutely everywhere on the globe. The essence of Kilroy was its placement in locations where soldiers, shipyard workers and other military personnel had been, creating a sense of camaraderie and connection amongst those who shared the same space. So, lay down a Kilroy and those who are in on the joke could share a laugh of their own. Its origin is debated, but the phrase is believed to have originated from the general infantrymen or the GIs in the war. Another theory is that the origins came from something not American in the slightest, but instead from a British cartoonist named George Chatterton, who created a character named Cool Chad in 1938. So what you're telling me is that this is basically the same thing as Where's Wally and Where's Waldo, and we all know which is the correct term, don't we? But somewhere in the theatre of war, Kilroy and Mr. Chad came together in one fantastic meme-worthy moment, creating an iconic thing for all. Mr. Chad, however, was used in a slightly different way, where his mark would be placed somewhere with a message. Instead of saying Kilroy was here, it would commonly be used to highlight shortages during the time. So, during the war years, phrases would be used such as, what, no petrol? Or, what, no bread? Whilst Mr. Chad still had the same recognisable image, arguably because Mr. Chad came first, the idea was still there, where people would tag this wherever they go, and people would stumble across it and find Mr. Chad once more. So, whilst this was the origin for the actual picture itself, Kilroy and the name Kilroy was here was something completely different. According to an etymologist, that is a person who studies the origin of words, called David Wilton, he pulled together the likely origins of this phrase, Kilroy was here, and the cartoon of Chad himself. He even went on to comment and said that sometime during the war, Chad and Kilroy met, and in the spirit of Allied unity, merged with the British drawing appeared over the American phrase. One theory identified that a James J. Kilroy, an American shipyard inspector, was the man behind the signature. Inspectors typically made a small chalk mark that riveters would erase, aiming to receive double payment for their work. To counter this practice, Kilroy marked the work he had inspected and approved with the phrase, Kilroy was here, using a more durable crayon. Whilst this seems like a plausible idea, many others have come forward and attempted to claim that they were in fact Kilroy and they were the originator of this famous phrase. As all things do, however, no one is quite sure and we just have to theorise because, look, as any meme does when it gets too big, it becomes less so of something that the original owner has any prowess over, but it's spread out over the internet for everybody to use. It pretty much takes on a life of its own. The actual identity of Kilroy remained a mystery, which certainly adds to the allure of the entire phenomenon. Various stories emerged regarding the origin of Kilroy, attributing this character to shipyard inspectors, war plant workers, or any other fictional characters. Basically, he can be anyone, anywhere. So, basically, anyone can be Kilroy. Do we know who the actual Kilroy was? No, we don't. But even though we don't know who it was, the effects of Kilroy had wide-reaching consequences, even in the most unexpected places. Which, for me, this is my favourite part. Basically, as far as we know, there is no single person who is named after Kilroy. However, during the Second World War, this became a widely used tag in many different places. American troops that were stationed across Europe, the Pacific, and other theatres of war carried the Kilroy image with them. This whimsical character and enigmatic tagline resonated with the soldiers and civilians alike, transcending language barriers and cultural differences, and as a result, the Kilroy image began to appear on walls, vehicles, equipment, and even landmarks around the world. That's just a nice way of saying people just graffitied all over the goddamn place, but it was done. Once it was on the wall, it was there for everybody to see, even if it was a national landmark. Some even joked that Kilroy was almost like a super soldier himself, having the mark of already being somewhere, particularly if you were advancing on an enemy position and then saw Kilroy, you would think, well, clearly Kilroy has already been here and done the job, so that's just what he does, I guess. He even had a spooking presence for those who were not in on the joke, such as Adolf Hitler himself. According to one story, German intelligence found the phrase on some captured American equipment. This led Hitler to believe that Kilroy could be the name or the code name of a high-level Allied spy, and feared what reprisals may become of it. It was even rumoured that Stalin also found a Kilroy in a VIP bathroom in the Potsdam Conference in 1945. So yes, he has been literally everywhere, even in the VIP bathroom that a communist dictator had used. No joke. Following the conclusion of the Second World War, the Kilroy phenomenon didn't fade away. Instead, it found new life in pop culture, solidifying its status as an enduring icon. The character's distinctive appearance and tagline have appeared in movies, comic strips, advertisements, in music, and ensured the legacy of Kilroy would remain ingrained in the collective consciousness of everybody. Whoever stumbled across Kilroy was here. This, I think, is pretty brilliant. One small little doodle that was placed on a wall or something like that would have such wide-reaching effects to many, many people. Those who were in on the joke and those who weren't. Either way, many, many people came across this thing and it certainly hasn't gone away. And all it was a little man peering over a wall saying Kilroy was here. And the fact that it was apparently bloody everywhere and it spooked Hitler of all people is pretty impressive nonetheless. If you guys like that video, here's another one just like it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Fantastic.